The Sports Vision Podcast. WWE.
That's right, the Sports Vision Podcast. Anthony Notarile, Anthony Santaniello, talking a little bit about WrestleMania 31 and the top 5 matches to look forward to. Now, of course, first and foremost, we know that Fastlane still is upcoming, so the matches aren't set in stone. So on top of just what matches we're giving, you have to understand these are also predictions, but they're educated predictions that absolutely could happen as far as the WrestleMania 31 card goes. Anthony, early in the week we got to speak to Bret Hart. Now we get to speak a little bit about WrestleMania.
And let's just get right into the thick of things here, Anthony. The first match, these are in no particular order of which matches we think are the best or which ones are the most to look forward to. But the first one, the elephant in the room, let's get rid of it. Sting Triple H.
Yes,
It's a rivalry that 10 years ago, if you said Sting would be fighting Triple H in 10 years of WrestleMania, I don't think many wrestling fans would have believed you. Sting has had a great career in professional wrestling, WCW, moved on to TNA, had a great career as well. Triple H, obviously one of the best in the business.
Yeah.
And to get them really to fight, it's really an out-of-nowhere feud. I mean, people would have thought Sting-Undertaker would have made more sense, two legends, but Triple H has really built himself as a top heel in the business.
And I'm actually, I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm happier that it's Sting Triple H and not Sting Undertaker, because I think Triple H will be able to put on a better match with Sting, who's a little bit older, a little bit rusty in the ring, whereas Taker Sting, it's a great story, it's a great build, it'll be a great build-up video, but I don't know how much the match would be good. So I think for this, it would be much better. You have Triple H, you have Sting, like you said, two iconic figures, and now I also think this is great for Sting because it kind of legitimizes his career, because he was huge, he's a huge superstar, but WCW, TNA, now you're on the big stage, and now you're facing one of the top dogs. That WrestleMania 31 build-up should be great, and actually, you know for 100% sure Triple H is going to be at WrestleMania and wrestling, because on the Stone Cold podcast, he said, he's been training for a match, he's definitely going to be involved in a match, so you have to assume it's going to be Sting.
It absolutely should be Sting based on how Raws in the past have gone, and the last pay-per-view events, the last few. Sting obviously teasing that he wants to fight Triple H at WrestleMania. Another one that we talked about would be a great innovation for WWE to have is the NXT ladder match at WrestleMania, to have to put the championship on the line. There's so much. I watch NXT every week, and
it's great.
It just gets so much better every week.
I think it's the best thing going
I agree.
As far as WWE or NXT, whatever it goes right now. I mean, that's definitely, they got such talented guys, and the ladder match, like you said, I think it's smarter to make it for the NXT title as opposed to like a contract to step right into WWE, because now it legitimizes the NXT title. Now the NXT championship is being shown on WrestleMania. What I think may happen is this. I could genuinely see a ladder match happening, and I've read some reports about it. But I think what they might do is put it on the pre-show, which it would still, if there's a chance to steal a show from the pre-show, I think it's possible, because the people they could put in that match would be ridiculous, and that can kind of be a tradition now that you lost Money in the Bank.
Exactly. There's the Money in the Bank was one of the staples of WrestleMania for a better part of this decade, and now that it's got its own pay-per-view and it's separated from WrestleMania, it makes sense to put the young guys, give them a chance in the big spotlight. Guys like Adrian Neville, who put on great shows, Sami Zayn,
Finn Balor,
yep.
The list goes on and on for who you can actually. I think the hardest part of that match wouldn't be the match itself; it'd be slimming it down to 6 to 8 guys to put in that match, because pretty much top to bottom, that roster is so special.
And it certainly would be one of those special matches. Another special match that we would possibly see that I think has been teased a lot as well.
Yeah.
Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt,
which gets me so excited. Obviously, the fans out there, I don't know if you've listened to the other podcasts, but Bray Wyatt is my guy. He's my favorite. I think the promos he cuts are perfect. I think the opponent in Undertaker is perfect, because the same situation for Sting and Triple H being good, because Triple H can kind of carry the match. That's how I feel with Taker and Wyatt. Wyatt will be able to not only carry the match, but tell a great story. Taker really wouldn't have to do a whole lot, but I think the match, the promo, the build-up, like I'm saying for all these matches, that one to me, out of the 5 we listed, it would be the coolest one to watch. Also, because here's why, Anthony. 21 years we've never seen Undertaker go into WrestleMania right after a loss.
Right.
So this story wouldn't just be about breaking the streak like it has been in years past. Now you get an actual story, and it'll be cool to see Undertaker, fresh off a loss, come back into WrestleMania.
And you mentioned that it would be more of a story, because Undertaker, while his WrestleMania main events have been good, he hasn't really had that much of a build-up in quite some time with like a really good rivalry. Exactly. It's always been based on the streak, and people seem to forget that this is like any other match. You need some sort of build up and some sort of thing to happen. And who's better at that really in the business than Bray Wyatt right now?
Yeah, it would be a perfect match. And the fourth match that we have on tap is one that you necessarily didn't think was special, but I kind of forced you to put it on this list. So get that elephant out of the room. Cody Rhodes, or Stardust, whatever he will be by the time WrestleMania comes, versus Goldust. Now, it was heavily teased on Raw that there's kind of a wrinkle in the friendship or in the brotherhood or in the team that Goldust and Stardust have. So I think I'm personally all in for Stardust or Cody Rhodes versus Goldust. And the fact, it was a great moment when he said, "Don't call me Cody" on Raw. If you guys, if the listeners saw that, they'll know what I'm talking about. I think brother versus brother is a great story. Goldust wants to retire after WrestleMania. What better way to do it than going against his brother? And unlike years past in WrestleMania, this would be a strong undercard match that I think a lot of people would be invested in.
They definitely would, and it attracts people from the 90s and early 2000s that watched Goldust and now see Cody Rhodes coming to fruition in WWE, and I think it's a good match. It's definitely a good kickoff match, but if it's anywhere higher than probably the third or fourth match on WrestleMania, I think it's a little out there, and it's something to look forward to just because they're obviously brothers and outside of the ring, and it's a fun thing to look forward to. But I think it's more of a not necessarily a gimmick match, but something. You obviously enjoy it. You enjoy.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Goldie. I'm a big fan of
I just
Rhodes,
Goldust really never got
that's fair.
my attraction.
Well, I think then if you wanted to personally substitute, I think another match that you kind of felt building for a while, Miz versus Mizdow.
Yes,
I think that might be a match that I don't know if both of these matches will be on Mania, but I think definitely either the Rhodes brothers facing off or Miz and Mizdow. Those are two matches from the undercard that you can look forward to. My pick is obviously Cody Rhodes versus Goldust, but if we want to substitute to make you smile, we'll put Mizdow versus Miz in there as well. And then the fifth match, we don't necessarily know the superstars who will be involved yet, but the WrestleMania main event.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a crazy one, and assuming it's not just Roman versus Brock, it'll be entertaining.
I think it's very ambiguous at this point. There's a lot that can happen because not only is Daniel Bryan in possibility for being in the championship match, but they teased on Twitter, obviously, him versus Dolph
so you don't really
Ziggler.
know what's going on.
So there's a possibility of 6 or 7 guys that could really be in the main event of WrestleMania with Lesnar, Reigns, Bryan, Ziggler, Ambrose, Rollins.
Yeah. I have no. Normally, it's easy to predict, and you look at the Rumble winner, that was very easy to predict. The WrestleMania main event is pretty easy after that, but this year, I'm not sure. I mean, there's even like a small thought in my head that it might be Daniel Bryan, Lesnar, Roman, and Rollins in a fatal four-way like WrestleMania 2000 style. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to go on, but it's going to be an exciting one. But my prediction will be Bryan, Roman, and Lesnar because we saw Mysterio lose his Rumble spot when he won it in 06, and then it ended up being a triple threat with Angle, Orton, and Mysterio at 22. So I think what's most likely to happen Bryan probably will win the match, Roman or vice versa. So both of them will get involved, and then Lesnar will be in there as well. So Lesnar might not have to necessarily get pinned to lose the title.
And I completely agree with you on that. That's what I was going to say for my Mania main event as well. But I got to ask you one question, our final question before we wrap up here. Do you need to see Seth Rollins walk away with the WWE Championship after WrestleMania to really save WWE's product from Royal Rumble?
I think that after the Royal Rumble finish, that how mad fans were with Roman Reigns winning. I think if you let Roman Reigns walk away with the title, beating the guy who just beat the streak, if it's a one-on-one match, fans will erupt. So I think in that case, Rollins has to walk away with the title. But if it's a triple threat and Bryan walks away with it, I think essentially if Lesnar, Bryan, or Rollins walk away with the title, WWE fans will be happy.
Yep.
I think if Roman walks away with the title, pinning Bryan, pinning Lesnar, pinning Rollins, people will feel it's undeserving and they will erupt. I'm not a firm believer of that. I think the Royal Rumble finish was a little but I don't think that WrestleMania would be dead if Roman Reigns were to walk away as champion. But I think most fans are under the belief that they're hoping Lesnar, Bryan, or Rollins walk away with the title. But I do think, sadly, Roman Reigns is going to win a Mania.
I don't think they can let that happen. I think that a year ago it would have sounded like a great idea having Reigns win the Royal Rumble when he was getting a lot of pops from the arena, and after he came in second in the Royal Rumble last year, I think that would have been the right time to do it. This year, he's got so much heat from all the fans.
Yeah.
I think that I like the idea of Lesnar retaining the title.
I think it'd be awesome. I'm just not sure with this contract.
Exactly, that was the big thing. They say he doesn't want to come back to WWE, but the whole prize fighter gimmick, it's awesome. It's fantastic. Having it, you don't have to force championship matches. The pay-per-views become more meaningful with the main event.
And it makes the title special. It's not getting defended 13 times. When every pay-per-view. I am a huge fan of the Lesnar thing going on right now. I was never a huge fan of him until he beat the Streak, and then they really convinced me he is this huge monster. I guess we'll have to see. I mean, we all have our predictions. We have the 5 matches once again. NXT ladder match, that'll be a great one. Cody Rhodes, Goldust, or Mizdow. We have, of course, Sting, Triple H. We have Wyatt Taker, and then we have the main event. We're not sure who, but those are the 5 matches to look forward to. It should be a very special WrestleMania 31, Santa Clara, California, March 29th, 2015. Once again, Anthony Notarile, Anthony Santaniello, wrapping up here from Sports Vision. We hope you enjoy, and we'll catch you on the flip side.